Good evening. Welcome to the October 4th, 2021 meeting of the Stillwater City Council. At this time, I will call the meeting to order, and I'll ask you all to stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have a special guest with us tonight for the proclamation in recognition of Fire Protection Week. So I will go ahead and read this proclamation, and then we'll take some pictures with Sparky. Thanks for being here, Sparky. Whereas the City of Stillwater is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting our state, and whereas fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at greatest risk from fire. And whereas home fires killed more than 2,770 people in the United States in 2019, according to the National Fire Protection Association, and fire departments in the United States responded to 339,500 home fires. And whereas smoke alarms sense smoke well before home residents can, thus alerting them to danger in the event of fire, in which there may be as little as 2 minutes to escape safely. And whereas working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires in half. And whereas Stillwater residents should be sure everyone in their home understands the sounds of alarms and knows how to respond. And whereas Stillwater residents who have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. And whereas Stillwater residents will make sure their home and carbon monoxide alarms meet the needs of all their family members, including those with sensory or physical disabilities. And whereas Stillwater first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And whereas the 2021 Fire Prevention Week theme, Learn the Sounds of Fire Safety, effectively serves to remind us it is important to learn the different sounds of smoke and carbon monoxide alarms. Therefore, I, William Joyce, do hereby proclaim October 3rd through 9th, 2021 as Fire Prevention Week throughout the city, and urge all the people of Stillwater to learn the sounds of fire safety for Fire Prevention Week 2021 and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of Stillwater Fire and Emergency Services. Chief Tharp.
Mayor and City Council, we do appreciate the proclamation, and many of the past years we've done skits for the fire prevention in the school system, and the last couple of years we've not been able to do that, so we have created a video, and if it's okay with you guys, we'd like to share that video. Just a few minutes.
Hey there. We're glad you're here today. I'm Jackson. This is Hunter.
Hey guys.
We have some special guests with us today. I'm sure you've probably heard of them. Mike and Sully from Monsters Inc. Today we're talking about fire safety. This year's Fire Prevention Week theme is Learn the Sounds of Fire Safety.
That's right, but we can't get started without Sparky.
Have you seen him? Oh, there he is!
What are you doing, Sparky? Don't be camera shy.
This year's Fire Prevention Week theme is Learn the Sounds of Fire Safety.
So let's talk about smoke detectors. Freddie, do you know what to do if you hear a smoke detector making noise?
Change the battery.
That's right, Freddie. Either a smoke detector replacement or a battery change.
You should change your smoke detector batteries yearly and test them monthly.
What should you do if you hear an alarm noise coming from your smoke detector?
Get on your feet and get out.
You're right. When you hear the noise coming from your smoke detector, you should get out of your house as soon as possible.
Freddie, do you know what number to call when there's a house fire?
911.
Good job, Freddie. And remember, only call 911 if there's an emergency.
Ask an adult how to call 911. But remember, never practice alone. 911 should only be called in emergency situations. You should also know how to escape your house in case of a fire. Discuss with your family a fire escape plan in case of an emergency.
When planning, always plan for 2 ways out. 2 ways out can either mean through doors or windows. And remember to practice your home escape plan at least twice a year.
Matches and lighters for adult use only. They are not toys. Always show an adult where they are located. Candle use is for adults only. Alright guys, now we're going over what to do in case of a fire emergency. First off, if there's a lot of smoke, get low and go.
And remember, kids, do not hide in a burning house. Find a way out. Get low and crawl out of the house. And on the way out, check the doorknob for heat.
Once outside, stay outside. Once you're outside, call 911 from neighbor's house or use a cell phone from outside of the house.
Don't try to save pets or toys. Leave it to the firefighters to save pets. Make sure to have a meeting place outside your house in case of a fire. This could be near a tree, mailbox, or a neighbor's house.
And remember, never go back inside the house. In case of a fire, remember, stop, drop, and roll.
Don't run. Stop where you are. Drop to the ground, cover your face, and roll until the fire's out. You know, guys, we've gone over some very important fire protection tips today. We've gone over the importance of smoke detector safety, having a home escape plan and 2 ways out, only calling 911 in case of an emergency, once outside, stay outside, and how to stop, drop, and roll.
Thanks for tagging along with us today and learn more about fire safety. That's a wrap for Fire Prevention Week 2021. We'll see you next time.
And this video was shared with all the schools this morning so they could show it to all the kids, so appreciate it.
I can always tell when it's Fire Prevention Week because my kids come home and they say, "Where are we going if there's a fire?"
Yes, that's
Make
right.
sure
Got
they
your meeting
always-
spot.
They learn that lesson well.
Good deal.
Excellent. Thank you guys for being here, and thanks for all you do for Fire Prevention Week.
All right, thank you.
I'll bring this down to you. All right, well, that was the fun part. Now we're on item 4 of the agenda, which is the consent docket. Counselors, questions, comments, or motion on the consent docket?
Motion to approve the consent docket.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent docket. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, the consent docket is approved. That takes us to item 7. Public hearings. 7A is receive public comment regarding a request from Stillwater Medical Center to close the utility easement on property addressed as 5200 West 6th Avenue. This is CC-21-189. Kimberly, did we have good notice on this?
Yes, we do.
Thank you. Mr. Gross.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor and Councilors. I'm Lance Gross, Planning Manager. And the first case before you tonight is a request to close a utility easement at 5200 West 6th Avenue. This closing is part of the Stillwater Medical Center Surgery Center expansion. On the map, you'll see a hatch pattern. That's the subject site. It's located north of West 6th Avenue, and it's approximately a third of a mile to the west of Country Club, which would be located over here. The gray area on the map is the easement to be closed. And the reason for this is the backside of the building right here. But the reason is there is a previous fire hydrant located here, and it's a dead-end water line. And the fire hydrant has actually been relocated to this location. So there's no need for this water line anymore, so they needed to close the easement. This is an aerial view. The red rectangle is the portion of the easement to be closed. Any questions?
Counselors? Thank you, Lance. This time I will open the public hearing. I think we have a representative from the hospital here.
Good evening, Mayor and Councilors. Stephen Gose, Gose & Associates, 113 East 8th. Here on behalf of the hospital. On the map that you all have, the survey with the map, there's There's actually a building expansion proposed out the middle of the back of the building, just another operating room or procedure room. And so this is, the water line's in the way. We will move the fire hydrant to the west. That fire hydrant and line were part of an old system before there were additional lines in Windsor to the west. And so this isn't needed for the city. We have plenty of fire coverage from the hydrants that are in Windsor, plus this one that we're relocating that serves more as a dead end. It's moving to where the water meter and fire service go into the building. So it's a partial closure of that easement. If there's any questions, I can try to answer them.
Thank you, Stephen. Does the fire department get involved in these things on the location of the hydrants, or is that just a city code thing?
They're usually reviewed by the building official at this point.
Counselors, any other questions?
All right, thank you.
Stephen. I don't have anybody else signed up to speak this evening, so I'll close the public hearing on this item. Lance, was there a planning commission recommendation?
Actually,
This doesn't go.
You're correct. Yeah, the recommendation is to approve the closing request.
All right. Counselors, comments, questions, discussion, motions?
Motion to approve staff recommendation and close the utility easement on property addressed at 5200 West 6th Avenue.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the request. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, that utility requested closement is approved. Item 7B is receive public comment regarding a request for specific use permit for a medical marijuana dispensary for property located at 911 and a half South Main Street, CC-21-188. Ms. Carnley, do we have good notice?
Yes, we do.
Lance?
Yes. The second case before you is for a specific use permit for a medical marijuana dispensary. The hatch pattern is the subject site, and you can see it's on the east side of Main Street between 9th and 10th. This is a street view looking straight to the east, looking at the two-story structure. This is a site plan or floor plan of the subject site. And this is the zoning map showing that it's currently zoned CB, which requires a specific use permit for a medical marijuana dispensary. And it's also surrounded by CB, commercial business. Any questions?
Counselors? Thank you, Lance. I will open the public hearing at this time. Do we have anyone here to speak? Nope. All right. Oh. You're a representative of the owner? Or the owner?
I'm the owner. Yeah, my wife and I. Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's a little place. Is there? I don't know, really know. Do you guys have any questions about it?
I don't think we do.
No. Okay. Well,
thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I will close the public hearing at this time and ask Lance for the recommendation.
The Planning Commission voted 3-0 to recommend approval.
Thank you, Lance. Counselors?
Motion to accept Planning Commission recommendations. Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the Planning Commission recommendation and approve this specific use permit. Please vote. With a vote of 4-1, with Councilor Wedlake voting against, that item is approved. Takes us to item 8 on the agenda, general orders. Item 8A is authorize staff to apply for an American Rescue Plan planning grant in the amount of $500,000. Mr. McClenny.
Good evening, John McClenny, Special Projects. Our grants consultant recently informed us about the opening of the American Rescue Plan Build Back Better grant, and it's a potential funding source for the CAW pipeline. Phase 1 is a $500,000 planning grant, and then Phase 2 is a construction grant of anywhere from $25 to $100 million. Staff seeks approval to apply for Phase 1. That will help us develop a regional coalition, because the CAW pipeline is truly regional. We serve a lot of other entities. Determine the economic development impacts, and then also project administration needs and sources of matching funding. The Phase 1 planning grant is a 100% federal grant, so there is no match. The Phase 2 grant is anywhere from 80 to 100% federal, depending on several factors on a case-by-case basis. It would include the applicant's taxing or borrowing capacity, the economic impact of COVID on the region, and the relative economic distress of the region. In-kind service is allowable as a match, so there will be some in-kind that we can put towards that. And we recommend a motion to authorize staff to proceed with an American Rescue Plan Build Back Better Phase 1 planning grant application.
Thank you so much, John. I assume there will be vigorous debate on this topic. Councilors, do you have any questions?
I'm excited to have the opportunity for such a large grant for such an important project. Can you share with us a little bit more about the grant? Is there a timing associated with it? Is the grant process just open right now and we can turn them in at any time? How does like phase 1 and phase 2 work together?
There is timing. Phase 1 is actually due October 19th, and we're on track to get that in on time, hence the report tonight. The award for phase 1 is in December, and then the phase 2 grants are due in March, and then those are to be awarded in September. So that's kind of the timeline for that.
So we wouldn't have the planning done by the time the phase 2 grants are, I mean, we're going to be applying. I kind of thought we'd get the planning grant, actually do some planning, and then apply for phase 2.
We're going to get the planning grant, get the planning done, and be ready to go with it for phase 2. So it's going to be a pretty tight timeline.
Oh, yeah.
Do we understand? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. You actually saw a substantial part of the planning. It's already been done at last week's meeting, the SUA, on the pipeline and the water plant.
Do we know what the phase 2 application is like, since it's such a larger, it seems like that would be, I mean, I know we have to do phase 1 first, but.
Yeah, I haven't seen the phase 2 application yet.
My guess is it's not even released to the public at this point.
Yeah, it's just
Based
such
on
a large amount that I would think the preparation for that kind of grant would be substantial.
My understanding from the consultant is this grant became available in July, so it's not been around for very long.
Mm-hmm. It's exciting.
It is. Any further questions? Is there a motion on the recommendation?
Motion to go get them? Can I say that?
Maybe a bit more specific.
Motion to authorize staff to apply for an American Rescue Plan planning grant in the amount of $500,000.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the staff's recommendation. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, that's approved. Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Good luck. Go get them. Item 8B is a COVID-19 update, and we're going to hear from Don Jones on a few things. I think our vaccine incentive program is one of them.
Good evening, Mayor Joyce and City Councilors. My name is Dawn Jones, and I serve our city as the Director of Communications and Public Information Officer. I am sharing a review of our Sleeves Up Stillwater campaign, which included both the COVID-19 vaccination incentive contest and our Healthcare Professional Appreciation Week. We would like to extend appreciation to our health campaign partners, Stillwater Medical Center, Stillwater Chamber of Commerce, and Visit Stillwater. Throughout the past 6 weeks, we have worked together to ensure this campaign was successful in that more residents engaged in healthy initiatives to prevent and slow the spread of COVID, more became vaccinated if allowable with their personal health, and healthcare professionals know we sincerely appreciate their continuous efforts to heal hurts and save lives. The COVID-19 vaccination incentive campaign was from August 17th through September 30th, with the drawing on Friday, October 1st. On Friday, we drew for 44 prizes. They were 10 $50 gift cards to Marble Slab Creamery, 10 $100 gift cards to Aspen in Fountain Square, 4 pairs of club-level tickets to OSU football home games, and 20 $5,000 cash prizes. The prizes were divided fairly for residents within Stillwater corporate city limits and for residents within Payne County with a Stillwater address. There were 2,115 total entries into the contest, with 401 for Stillwater address within Payne County and 1,714 for Stillwater address within corporate city limits. We began contacting prize recipients today and will continue throughout the next few days. We did experience an interruption on our Facebook Live during the drawing, but the entire drawing was aired without interruptions on our channels AT&T Uverse 99 and Suddenly 14. Additionally, the entire drawing was recorded and it is available on our City of Stillwater YouTube channel right now. Healthcare Professional Appreciation Week was September 27th through October 1st. We are grateful to all of our residents who participated to express their admiration and appreciation for our healthcare professionals. Whether sending kind messages, tying a white ribbon of hope around a tree or mailbox, having treats delivered, donating gift cards, becoming vaccinated to fight COVID-19, or other kind expression, all were treasured. This morning we received great news from our friends at the Payne County Health Department. Throughout the 6-week campaign, 2,200 Stillwater residents received their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccination. Also, per the Oklahoma State Department of Health, 55.9% of residents within Payne County have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccination as of September 28th. We would like to thank the Payne County Health Department for their selfless service and leadership to serve throughout this health crisis, and Oklahoma State University, Stillwater Public Schools, Meridian Technology Center, and all organizations that continue to provide vaccination opportunities. The increase in vaccinations is a united effort, and we are grateful to all who continue to help. That is it.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
2,200 new vaccinations is a really good number. That's exciting. Yeah,
I think we definitely made a dent.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dawn. Councilors, any further items for discussion under COVID-19? I would just note that we continue to see a decline in case numbers and hospitalizations statewide, which is excellent news, but it is also still very full at Stillwater Medical Center. They are not, thankfully, they don't have a ton of folks in ER holds at this point, but the ICU is still full. The medical beds, non-ICU beds at the hospital are still just about full most days, and so it is still very important to take those precautions. Becoming vaccinated is a tremendous benefit in keeping you out of the hospital if you do catch COVID. So please continue to take those precautions. Continue to wear masks in crowded situations or when you're around other people, and hopefully we can continue to see these numbers go down and see some improvement at Stillwater Medical Center as well. All right, that takes us to item 9 on the agenda, resolutions. We have resolution CC-2021-33, which is a resolution authorizing officers of the Stillwater Police Department to serve as law enforcement officers for the Payne County Sheriff's Office or the Oklahoma Highway Patrol.
Kimberly? This is a resolution for the police department. As you may recall, at the September 13th City Council meeting, you saw an almost identical resolution for Noble County Sheriff's Office. State law authorizes commissioned police officers of municipal police department to serve as law enforcement officers for the county sheriff's office or the Oklahoma Highway Patrol upon request, if such service has been authorized by resolution. So this is the resolution before you for consideration this evening. The chief of police has circulated this to both the Payne County Sheriff's Office, the DA, and legal counsel for Oklahoma Highway Patrol, and they have all indicated their approval.
Thank you, Ms. Carnley. Councilors, any questions? We appreciate the fact that our law enforcement folks here in Stillwater and around the Sheriff's Office and the Highway Patrol are able to do these kinds of things, to work together and assist when one department needs help, then other departments can chip in and help. So it's certainly a good thing. Is there a motion on the resolution?
Motion to adopt resolution CC-2021-33.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the resolution. Please vote. The vote of 5-0, resolution CC-2021-33 is adopted. Ordinances on second read. We have ordinance 3482, an ordinance rezoning attractive land located at 522 North Perkins Road from CS Commercial Shopping to CG Commercial General District. Councilors?
Motion.
Go for it.
Motion to adopt ordinance number 3482.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the ordinance. Please vote. With a vote of 4-1, with Councilor Jaloski voting against, that that ordinance is now adopted. Takes us to item 11, reports from officers and boards. Ms. Carnley.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Mr. McNichol.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have one item, and Don's already pretty much covered this, but I don't think we can say it frequently enough based on the proceedings of the last couple of years. The city would like to thank Visit Stillwater, Stillwater Chamber of Commerce, Stillwater Fire Department, Stillwater Police Department, LifeNet, Oklahoma State University, and all of the local businesses who help make Healthcare Professional Appreciation Week possible. You are all such valuable partners that we couldn't have done it without you. I know that the staff at Stillwater Medical Center and medical facilities all across our community are thankful too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I would chip in that as part of my meeting with the hospital board last week, the board expressed appreciation to the university specifically around home football games and the additional staff that they've provided, medical staff at football games, to help keep people from having to be transported from a football game to the hospital. Normally we see a number of those just because it's a bunch of people at a football game, and the university's been able to do a really great job with additional staff, additional healthcare workers at the facility, so that we didn't have those folks having to come to the hospital, which has been very helpful. So, just to add on to that, thanks there. All right, Councilor Hawkins.
The in-person time projects community meetings have ended, but it is not too late to share your ideas. You can share your input on a variety of city projects anytime by visiting speakup.stillwater.org. A virtual version of Time Projects presentation will be made available there soon.
I think they're also doing the Time Project presentation at the Chamber Lunch this Friday, correct? So if you haven't been to a Chamber Lunch in a while, you should go attend that one. Vice Mayor.
All right, I'm not as cool as Sparky, but it is Fire Prevention Week. The theme chosen by the National Fire Protection Association for this year is Learn the Sounds of Fire Safety. Don't ignore the signals. If your smoke detector is chirping, it's time to change the batteries or install a new alarm. Visit nfpa.org or follow the Stillwater Fire Department on Facebook for more safety tips.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Councilor Wedlake?
Yes, sir. The Stillwater Public Library is hosting a flu and COVID-19 shots clinic on October 12th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Drop by the library to receive a free flu shot or COVID-19 vaccine from the Payne County Health Department while supplies last. All attendees will be required to wear a mask. Let's work together to keep our community healthy as we enter this holiday season. I would urge anybody that has any questions about vaccinations to speak to their personal or family physician. As it stands right now, vaccination remains the most effective means of getting to the other side of this pandemic. So we would urge everybody to get vaccinated. And again, if you have questions or concerns about that, talk to a trusted healthcare professional about that.
Thank you, Doctor. I think it's, did you say they're also doing flu shots?
Yes, flu shots as well, which
killers.
are also important even in the age of COVID. Flu shots are still very important.
Yep. Thank you. Councilor Jaloski.
Panera Bread has invited the Stillwater Police Department to join them for National Coffee with a Cop Day on Wednesday, October 6th. Stop by Panera Bread on Hall of Fame between 7:30 and 9:30 a.m. to have a cup of coffee and take a few minutes to get to know your neighborhood officers and community partners.
That's fantastic.
A great way to spend the morning.
Yeah, thank you, Panera, for that. I will let you know that FEMA's National Flood Insurance Program will implement the use of a new tool called Risk Rating 2.0 to determine insurance premiums for new flood insurance policies beginning on October 1st, 2021. All renewal flood insurance policy premiums will use this tool beginning April 1st, 2022. It uses multiple factors such as proximity to a flooding source and the replacement value of your home to determine policy premiums. To find out how this tool will affect your flood insurance policy premium, contact your insurance agent. And remember that you don't have to live within a FEMA regulatory flood zone to be affected by localized flooding, and all Stillwater residents are able to obtain a flood insurance policy. For more information regarding flood zones and risks in your area, contact the City of Stillwater Floodplain Administrator at stormwater@stillwater.org. That's stormwater@stillwater.org, or call 405-533-8436. That is all we have on the agenda for the city council tonight. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, the Stillwater City Council is now adjourned. At this time, I am going to call to order the Stillwater Economic Development Authority meeting for October 4th, 2021. We have one item on the consent docket. Trustees, is there a motion?
Motion to approve the consent docket.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, the consent docket is approved. Under general orders, we have an annual report from Visit Stillwater. Chris Norris will give us that report.
Thank you, guys. I sure know how to clear out a chamber room. My gosh. Anyway, I'm Chris Norris. I am the Visit Stillwater chairman. I'm the chairman of the Visit Stillwater Board of Directors. Recently, we did forward the annual report to the city manager for your review. I hope you've seen that. Includes the deliverables that were outlined within our contract. As everybody else, the pandemic has been a challenge to our travel and tourism industry, especially for the first 10 months of the fiscal year. We did start having some things pick up a great deal in May and June, and we even surpassed May and June of 2019's figures. So we're absolutely trending in the right direction, and we're taking advantage of those situations that come our way. We focused our efforts on marketing to visitors and communicating with residents to support local businesses, especially during the pandemic. Our marketing and communications activities are strong, and we were extremely close to hitting those goals, even when people weren't traveling during the fiscal year. We did not cancel, like many of our fellow DMOs, our 2021 visitor guide. And thank God we didn't do that. It has been our most popular guide to date. And will easily distribute 100,000 copies by the end of the calendar year. Our website traffic trends higher than the industry average, which I put in, I think, quite a few of my emails to you. And it's a great part to the comprehensive calendar of events and the 360-degree tours that we do. We continually feature locally held events that are unique to Stillwater and Stillwater retailers and restaurants in our monthly promotional videos. And in June, we did produce a new Stillwater map that features the new OSU campus map, the Payne County map. We printed 12,500 of those, and we have already given out 5,000 of those 12,500, so it was a good move to do that. Our sales and service team continually works closely with meeting and events planners daily. We encourage, obviously flexibility and assist with creative alternatives to the pandemic. There was fewer groups to assist because of travel, but we reached out to clients to enhance current relationships and establish new ones. Our Payne County Expo Center, again, has remained a steady help to us, and we're able to recruit several new regional and even national events to that. And our 360-degree tours helped our customers view things when they weren't able to make an on-site visit. So that was a huge addition to what we've done, and it'll continue to be. And we've constantly, during this whole pandemic, have been open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 with staff. We did develop a Stillwater Savings Pass to further support local businesses through resident and vendor spending. The businesses, they can all participate at no cost, and they can change their discounts as often as they would like. And the technology of that pass goes also, when they click on that, they will get to the individual business's website. We did create Oklahoma's first geocache tour throughout Stillwater. For those who don't know, Geocaching is a type of global treasure hunt where people search for cache and hidden caches, not physical cache, but caches and hidden stashes of objects. So far, we've had 20 of these in our tour. The tour can take up to 2 days. We have had residents from Missouri and Kansas, in addition to Oklahoma, take advantage of this, and we've had 12 individuals get the valued geocoin that I am holding in my hand. So, some highlights. At the end of the fiscal year, the lodging tax collections that we trended 20% down, which was no one's surprise. But in the new fiscal year, we are up 88%. We have gone from 106,000 to 201,000 in collections. The short-term rentals, which y'all helped us with 3 years ago, such as Airbnb, we now have 82 total, which is significant. Thanks again for that. Over the summer, we did start working with Mary Main Street Planning Committee to promote their attractions for the local the holiday season. Lastly, a couple of things. We are honored to be recognized by the Oklahoma Travel Industry Association with 4 awards, including the top honor that they give, which was the Tourism Organization of the Year. In addition to that, we did finish first in Best Website, Best Overall Marketing Campaign, and Best Pandemic-Related Campaign. Lastly, we have just been awarded the Destination Marketing Accreditation Program seal for our commitment to industry excellence and accountability. Visit Stillwater is one of 2 accredited destination marketing in Oklahoma, the other being Oklahoma City. We are also the smallest DMO in the United States at this point to earn this designation. So that is my report. So, questions?
Thank you, Chris. Trustees, any questions?
I would just congratulate you all on the awards and the recognition. It's certainly well deserved.
Well, thank you. And thank the staff. Christy and staff have done a phenomenal job with 3 people. So.
I want to thank Visit Stillwater and the board for continuing to be huge advocates and supporters of the initiatives the city of Stillwater did during the pandemic. You did so with great success, and so we appreciate that. And I am always amazed at the creativity that the staff comes up with. So congratulations, and I did not get a geocoin, but I'm going to work on it. So.
I was going to ask Chris if he actually earned that one, or did he just pick it up?
Well, being the chairman has his advantage.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I just wanted to echo that from Vice Mayor Zanotti. Looking through the report, we've got certain deliverables and certain goals that are set for the organization, and for the most part, those were met admirably, and if not, certainly because of the pandemic, had a huge impact on that. None of these deliverables says pass out masks to businesses and residents. They don't say, help us run a vaccination incentive campaign. None of that stuff is dictated to Visit Stillwater within our contract, and so we appreciate the cooperation, the community care and spirit that you all have shown over the last year and a half, and certainly more than that. But those are all things that go above and beyond what it is the city actually pays Visit Stillwater to do, which is again very much appreciated. And not only do you go above and beyond, but the stuff that we do pay you to do, you do very well as well. So we appreciate you being here. Anything further on that item, counselors? Excuse me, trustees? All right. We will move to item 5B, an update on our tax increment financing districts from Melissa Reams.
Good evening, trustees. Melissa Reams, Deputy City Manager. And since September is the month for annual reports, I thought I would bring you an annual update on our 5 TIFs here within the city. The pertinent details were mentioned in the report. TIF number 1 is the North Perkins TIF. It includes the Academy and the neighborhood Walmart. It's about halfway through its life. We've had 6 years of experience. It has 9 years left. Its expiration date is June 30th, 2030. To date, we have paid out $1,565,110 to the developer. And this is just 1 penny of sales tax that's been generated out there. So he still has another 9 years to recoup his total investment, which was $3.4 million in public realm improvements. So very pleased with how that TIF is aging out. We have TIF number 2, which is a sales tax only TIF, and it's located out west of town from, I think, from Sanger to Range approximately, and it's probably about that deep. It is a sales tax only TIF, and to date we've had no one avail themselves of that TIF. I think problematically out there, a lot of that land is owned by either Meridian or OSU, and so the land that looks good for development is not available for development. So, TIF number 2. TIF number 3 is our downtown campus link TIF, and in your packet, I provided you with a balance sheet and an income statement. This is the most active TIF that we have at this particular point in time. It is our first ad valorem and sales tax TIF. And to date, we have 4 development projects that we have committed funding to. 2 of those, the funding has already been paid to the Creamery Project and to Lily's Lavender. We're still working with Stone Cloud. They haven't come to us yet asking for any reimbursement money. And then we're still working with the Everyman Project to get that one up and going. If you'll remember, this is a 25-year TIF. It will expire in July of 2043. And its total budget is $32.5 million. One of the other items that was in your packet is a chart showing the growth in the increment itself. And it's been pretty phenomenal. We have 2 actual years of experience, and then we have the estimated values from the county assessor's report to the excise board. So from calendar year 2019, remember property tax is collected on a calendar year, not a fiscal year. So from calendar year 2019 to calendar year 20, we saw 110% growth in that increment. It more than doubled itself. And then from calendar year 20 to calendar year 21, based on the estimate in the excise board report, we're going to see about a 39% growth. So phenomenal growth in just the increment piece. The base assessed value stays static. And one other good note, I'm tracking budget to actual because I'm looking for those shortfall numbers. At some point, I think we're going to have to recognize that there will be a certain percentage of tax that will go uncollected, and it's really has nothing to do with the fact that the county's not trying to collect those taxes. Things just get bound up in bankruptcies and different things. But to date, we're seeing an average of 6% that is uncollectible. And I think in any market, when you're looking at receivables of 6%, bad debt allowance is not bad. So we're going to continue to track that and watch that, and we are working very closely with, and my mask is not cooperating today, working very closely with our county treasurer on these collections. Any questions about TIF number 3? We've talked about it a lot over the last few months because we've had several projects come in. And then lastly, we have TIF 4 and 5. TIF 4 and 5 are located at the Boomer Lake Power Station project. TIF number 4 encompasses all that was the publicly owned property. Everything that belonged to the city is in TIF number 4. TIF number 5 encompasses those outlying parcels that kind of run along Boomer there, and hopefully the developer is going to be able to acquire those properties and make more development out there. We have committed ourselves to $6 million on this on TIF number 4 project, which is the repurposing of the Boomer Lake Power Station. But to date, we have not collected any money on that particular TIF, nor have we really distributed any money out of that. TIF number 5, if you'll recall, will only be enacted if needed, and that is yet to be determined whether that's going to be needed or not. The budgets that were created for both of these TIFs, it's one budget, so it technically could all be used in TIF number 4. And that's kind of the annual report on our TIFs. We've gone from 1 TIF to 5 in not really too many years. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Melissa. Trustees, any questions? I know it's taken us a little while to see TIF 3 kind of pick up and become active, but it certainly has at this point. I know there are these 4 and some other ones that are out there being discussed, so
we have some very exciting prospects in the wings. Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Any reports from the officers or the board? Is there a motion to adjourn the SEDA meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn SEDA. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, the Stillwater Economic Development Authority is now adjourned. This time, I will call to order the October 4th, 2021 meeting of the Stillwater Utilities Authority. Up first, we have a consent docket with a couple of items. Trustees, is there a motion?
Motion to approve the consent docket?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent docket. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, the consent docket is approved. Under general orders, we have item A, approve a budget amendment appropriating an additional $7.3 million from the RSF for the ODOT 6th Avenue project. Mr. Lauren Smith.
Good evening, trustees. Sole survivor, it looks like. Maybe I should know how to clear out. Lauren Smith, Electric Utility Director. On November 16, 2020, the trustees approved the ODOT 6th Avenue Transmission and Distribution Relocation Project. Since then, staff has released a request for proposals for engineering services required for the project. 7 engineering firms submitted statements of qualifications, and after an extensive evaluation by the project team, it was determined that Burns & McDonnell was the best qualified to perform these services. Staff has negotiated a professional services agreement with them and is part of the recommended action.
Hey, Lauren.
This report, yes.
We have item 5B is approve a professional service agreement with Burns & Mac. The first one is to approve a budget amendment on the
So these
money.
are kind of both the same story.
You're going to go together with them?
Yeah, they're exactly the same
okay,
story.
right?
Yeah.
Yes, it was originally one report, but because we had 2 action items, we split it into 2 items. So I believe his report addresses both items.
It's the same story. The second one won't really be a report. It'll just be the
I got you.
because it's all the same.
Thank you.
He's telling you why he needs the money.
See, yes, exactly. So staff has negotiated a professional service agreement with them and as part of the recommended action in this report. Burns McDonnell have provided a detailed project cost estimate for the project, and a summary is listed in the report. During the previous SUA meeting, staff was authorized to proceed with the project at a cost estimate of $7.5 million. Costs provided at the time were based on previous projects, but there were several items the staff did not have pricing for. After a detailed review and analysis, Burns & McDonnell estimates that the project cost is closer to $14.2 million as defined in the report. Staff is seeking approval to appropriate additional funds from the RSF to proceed with the project. And I have a motion here, but I will pause and answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Lauren. Trustees? I mean, I think everybody's big question is going to be,
Yes.
that's a big change.
Yes, it is, and I'd love to blame it all on COVID, but there's other factors there as well. Prices have increased due to COVID. Some of the projects that we were looking at to come up with a cost estimate were several years old, and things like that. So materials went up, construction, these are all estimates, of course, materials, construction costs, and that. So really, we gave you about a 20,000-foot view of what we thought it was going to cost. When you get the engineering firm on board, they get down in the weeds and really rake everything out, and sometimes that scope can get more defined with things that we didn't account for. So really having that professional engineer firm create that cost estimate for the project is imperative.
Can you kind of give a brief overview of what's going to be done as part of the project, just to make sure we're all recalling how big the scope is here?
You bet. So these were the attachments to the previous report that we had, and it kind of shows an idea. The 6th Avenue relocation project essentially is removing all the overhead infrastructure from Western to Perkins Road along 6th Avenue. And so what that entails, we have a large transmission line that runs down 6th Avenue as well as distribution and other infrastructure there. And so in order to remove that, we are going to relocate the transmission lines completely out of the way and come down Sanger Road from our Kinsey substation to approximately 12th Avenue, where if 12th Avenue went through, and then come across down 12th Avenue and back down Pine Street to get into our substation. A couple things, and I'll flash forward here. Not only are we removing transmission, but we're having to relocate a lot of distribution that was running down 6th Street. And so that'll be pushed back several blocks, and that'll be part of the contract as well. What we're also doing with the project, and all these improvements will just enhance our reliability even more. We're going to build out we're going to have to build out a second terminal at the Kinsey substation as well as hospital substation to accept this new line. And it'll do a couple things. It'll allow us to better sectionalize our 69 kV loop. Right now we have one big long run it's a considerable amount of line exposure. When we sectionalize that out, we'll essentially have what's called a self-healing 69 kV system, where it should be able to isolate the fault, but yet still provide power to the substation from a different direction at all of our subs. And so it's a very, while we wouldn't be doing this project or the relocation part of it, there's several projects wrapped up in here that we would be doing in the next several years as part of our capital improvement plans. So it's kind of all inclusive.
All together.
So this 14.3 or 2, whatever we're at here,
yes,
is the estimate to do the line relocation, the transmission line relocation, all the line relocation down 6th Street,
everything,
and the associated engineering and all that sort of stuff.
Yes, it's all inclusive.
I mean, it certainly makes sense, given the size of that project, that it would be very expensive, because that is a massive project.
Yeah.
When you start moving transmission lines, it gets very expensive. Yeah. We like to just sometimes save $1 million a mile, depending on other things as well.
Okay. Trustees, further questions?
Lauren, would you remind them also of the trail that would be involved in that?
There you go. And so as part of this, we are looking at putting a multimodal, I don't know if that's the right word, but a kind of a gravel trail that we could split through this section to connect 12th Street and Western. You may recall that.
Yeah.
And the path would be dual purpose for us. It would allow us access to our transmission line through that area, as well as it could be used as a bike path or a walking path. We're hoping to connect up here at the College Gardens somewhere, run down our easement, and then follow the transmission path with that trail.
Would that, so 12th and Western?
12th and Western's right here. This is Sanger. And this is about where 12th would connect to Sanger if it went all the way through. Does that make sense?
So you could take that trail from the nice wide sidewalk at 12th and Western all the way to the pond at Sanger and 6th?
Absolutely.
That's worth $14 million by itself.
Yeah, I was going to say that, yeah.
And
Start at.
the talk is to the Botanical Gardens, right? So you
Yeah.
get that
Oh,
path
that'd be
across
great,
that too.
yeah.
So yeah, that's a very important part of this.
That was a joke. That's not worth $14 million. It is very important.
It's very
and
important,
I
yeah.
think would be a very popular part of this.
Yep.
What else, trustees? So you have 2 recommended actions for us.
I have a recommended motion for this report, and then we can just move to the next one, and we'll take that action, I guess. So.
Sure, yeah. Go ahead with item 5A.
5A, motion to award the budget amendment appropriating an additional $7,340,552 from the RSF for the ODOT 6th Avenue from Western Road to Perkins Road rebuild project for a total project cost of $14,840,552.
Trustees, discussion, or is there a motion on that recommendation?
Motion to accept staff recommendation.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second to accept the recommendation. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, that item is approved. Now, the same report on item 5B, but a different recommendation, correct?
Correct. This is the part about the professional service agreement side. So, motion to award a professional service agreement with Burns & McDonnell in the amount not to exceed $2,571,969 for engineering services for the ODOT 6th Avenue from Western Road to Perkins Road rebuild project, and authorize the general manager to sign the contract documents.
Thank you, Lauren. Trustees?
Motion to accept staff recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the recommendation. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, that recommendation is approved as well. Thank you, Lauren.
Thanks, Lauren.
Are there any reports from the officers or the board? Is there a motion to adjourn the SUA?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn SUA. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, the Stillwater Utilities Authority is adjourned, and that concludes our meetings for the evening.